host, Taylor.
Hi, I'm Seth. I talk Star Wars for this man.
Sorry, we were having a very interesting conversation that we would love to share with you guys, but it involves stuff that we're not
Yeah,
ready to talk about yet.
it's on hold for the moment.
Yeah. But before we do get into some news,
Yeah.
we actually have news this week. We'd like to normally start the show by talking about just how our week has been so far, and stuff outside of Star Wars that we've been up to.
Yeah.
So there was some Fallout stuff. An
Yes.
update on your Fallout gameplay that you wanted to share with the class.
Yeah. So, last week I said I was doing the last DLC. I was finishing up Lonesome Road. I have finished up Lonesome Road. So, for those of you who don't know, because I don't play games like for other people very often.
Yeah.
Um.
You're not like me. I do the Let's Plays
Yeah.
and the live streams. You kind of just play to enjoy it for yourself.
Yeah. I tend to, when it comes to games, take the speak softly and carry a big stick approach. This time it worked out for me. Because I was able to talk down Ulysses, who's like, I fucking hate you, courier. And it's like, why, man? And it's like, I didn't know what was in the package. I didn't know things were gonna fucking explode once I delivered it. And I'm like, why are you so angry? If you wanted to kill me, you could have just killed me by now. And he's like, oh, I don't hate you because of who you are. I hate you because you taught me that, like, you can kill a symbol. I'm like, motherfucker. Okay.
Getting all like government U.S. civics on me.
Yeah. I'm like, he's like, yeah, this place could have been like a rival to like the NCR, the Legion, but you, being just a mailman, killed it. And I'm like, I didn't know that was gonna happen. And he's like,
I didn't
yeah,
even know
well,
that was your plan.
it's like, fuck you. It's essentially Ulysses' response. And I'm like, look, man, sometimes bad things happen. And he's like
getting shot twice.
like getting shot in the head twice. And I'm like, alright, whatever. I'm gonna come and meet you. And he's like, oh, by the way, I'm taking your robot friend now. And I'm like, this was like last week. I explained like I knew this was going to happen because I've played through it before. Oh, the first time this ever happened, I was fucking pissed. And like last week, I explained, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go and beat his ass for that. Like, all right. So I go and I finally get up there, and he's like, I plan to nuke both the NCR and the Legion. And I'm like, what do you get out of this? And he's like, spite. I'm like, this is so stupid.
Yeah.
Do you understand the consequences of this?
Like if there was ever like a dumb villain plan, this
Like,
is the dumbest of
his
villain
entire
plans.
reason is like, I will wipe them both out, and hopefully he wants to like essentially reset the timer on civilization again.
Except y'all,
And I'm
the
like,
Fallout universe that's practically just happened. I mean, it's been a few decades.
Yeah.
It as far as like Fallout's concerned, like that, it's still pretty recent.
and it's like, all right, Ulysses, you motherfucker. I'm gonna sit down and have like a, cause he'll talk to you like throughout the thing, and this is an important thing to do because it's the only way to take a third option for like the end choice for the DLC.
Yep.
It's to go and get EDE and rescue your little robot friend.
Okay.
So I go and I do that because EDE has helped me, and I like helping people, believe it or not. Despite what I was talking about earlier, where I was like, I'm just gonna go and wipe them out.
Yeah, because I mean, you did mention that first thing you did.
First thing I did once I got back was like, all right, I'm just gonna go kill him.
Yeah, you dealt with the Legion.
Yeah, dealt with Caesar directly. I was just like, I'm just gonna go murder him. But for this one, I go and I talk Ulysses down, and he's like, "Well, I have some unfortunate news for you, Courier. And the last time I did this, I fucked it up, and I was like, because let me tell you something about Ulysses. Motherfucker has 10 in all of his stats, 1,000 hit points, and robots to fucking heal him if you choose to fight him. Admittedly, you were supposed to be max level by the time you get around to this DLC,
Yeah.
so that's not really that bad.
Yeah, no.
Because it's like, he has to be challenging, he's like an endgame boss.
And of course, in your case, you chose to do all this stuff
I
to level up.
Yeah, and I went and I talk him out of it, but like the final dialogue choice can either determine if like he'll fight with you against the marked men, or fight against you, while you also have to fight the marked men and everything else. Last time I was like, I'm betting you have some way to stop this, right? And there's no like, this one is the one that gets him to stop like trying to fight you. There are like 3 options, and that one, the one where it's like, I'm betting you have a way to shut this down. And he's like, nah, I'm gonna kill you. But if you choose the one underneath it, which is like, look, if I've convinced you, then it's enough for me. And he's like, oh, well, I seem to have overreacted. By the way, just in case you killed me, I summoned all the marked men here to make sure they finished the job.
Oh.
I'm like, all right, I guess we're killing our way out of here. And so,
Even
after
though realistically, all he could do was go, hey, he's not here. Like, he could walk out the front door first and be like, hey, the guy that I told you would be here, he's gone.
yeah, the marked men aren't very friendly to anything that isn't a marked man.
Oh, okay. Even somebody who
Yeah.
gives them information.
So, they're ghouls. They're not like feral, like, but they are fucking angry, man.
Gotcha.
Like, the kill on sight policy is for everything in the Divide. And so after that, like, go talk him down, and it's like, all right, here's the deal. I can't really he's like, we should probably do something about all these nuclear weapons that we have lying around. I'm like, yeah, we should, shouldn't we? Shouldn't we, Ulysses? And it's like, all right, here are your options. You can choose to nuke the NCR. You can choose to nuke the Legion. You can choose to nuke both of them. Or, option 4, you can go, and if you've rescued EDE, you can be like, you can go and you can have him shut it down. Or at least prevent them from launching. They're still gonna go off anyway.
I mean, they're still nukes.
And it's like, and that's the only way. The problem is, this will kill EDE. But, I'm also like, and me and Andrew had this discussion a while back. I didn't lay it all out. I'm like, I'm not going to nuke either of them, because the Legion still has people in it who don't get a choice in a lot of things. And for as corrupt as the NCR is sometimes, and slow moving, I don't want them to get hurt either. So I'm like, so I guess we're going with option 3.
No, you want 4.
Sorry, 4, not option 3. Option 3 is bad for everybody. But I'm taking a third option.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And so that version of EDE dies. And I'm like, damn. So you go, you get out, and it's like, here are the things you get for doing the DLC. Here's your items. Here's some faction reputation, with the followers of the Apocalypse and the Brotherhood of Steel, because you stopped another apocalypse in like a special point.
Also prevented people from having technology, because Brotherhood of Steel is all about that.
Yeah.
They don't want people to actually have technology progress as a society. Only for them. Which is why Brotherhood of Steel also suck.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's like, oh, cool, Brotherhood of Steel. until you hear what they're about.
Yeah, and you're like, maybe, just one moment.
Maybe they're a little bit.
Maybe this is a bit much. And so, I go and I do that. And I'm like, all right, it's done. And it's like ending slides. It's like Ulysses is gonna stay like essentially at the entrance of the divide to make sure all of the problems that are there stay there. And EDE is like not the one in the Mojave, the one that travels with you, because they're two different ones.
Yeah.
Is like it essentially sends its data files and, for lack of a better term, memories to the one in the Mojave.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that's good. It's good because like it gets all of the upgrades and stuff. But I'm also like, oh,
It's kind of
you're not completely dead.
It's kind of for our fantasy like Star Wars game.
Yeah.
It's the B9.
Yeah, it's the B9. That's
Where-
basically what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, where like, yeah, you lose the physical body, but you have at least your last like memory save file.
Yeah.
And you upload it to like the cloud, and then it goes into the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, that's good.
For those of y'all curious about our Star Wars talk there, for our Knights of the Republic game, we had a character who was a droid. He was a BB type unit, like BB-8, called B9. One of the ongoing jokes is that he would continuously kill people by blowing himself up, to the point that he made duplicates of his body, but were like empty shells essentially. And he would do exactly what he did.
Yeah.
You have your last save that we go, okay, this is the last time that you save before you blow up, which means you won't remember blowing up. Other people will, and will also know the results of what you did.
Yeah.
Which made for funny results of when characters would go, oh my god, you blew up an entire planet.
Like, I did what?
Like, there were characters that were scared of B9, and B9 had no clue why.
Like, why is everybody freaking out? Sorry, that was a weird, like, vocal impression.
That was great. I loved it. But yeah, it's essentially
Yeah. So, after that, I explained earlier, I'm like, I'm just gonna walk into Caesar's tent and kill him, because who could stop me?
Yeah.
So that's what I did.
Children could stop you. He was telling me the story off screen as we were getting ready, and he told me about.
So,
mind if I share it?
yeah, go ahead.
He told me that he was sneaking about, perfect stealth, except he was up to these characters in the Legion that he saw.
Yep.
Like, about as close as we are now. And, using your words. And it showed the alert that you weren't hidden.
Yeah. It was,
You were detected.
detected
Yes.
is like the friendly one.
Yeah.
Caution is the one that's for enemies.
So you were detected.
Yeah.
And you were like, wait, but these are enemies, supposedly.
Yeah.
So
Why aren't they attacking me?
So you turn on VATS.
I tried to turn on VATS, and
but
it won't let
nothing
me.
Comes up. Yeah, nothing comes up. So in Fallout, there's VATS, which is like your automated, like, it's the way to turn the real-time combat into like a real-time pause almost.
Yeah.
Because it lets you strategize a little bit, and although it's still slow-mo, like slow motion movement's still going on, but you're able to like target specific body parts. It shows you the percentage of like the likelihood that you'll do damage. Also, doing these specific body parts also does like extra things. Like if it's the head, it can cause like
you can give them a concussion.
Yeah.
Or if you like shoot a gun, it'll break, or like someone's arm, it'll just snap.
Yeah.
Like if you shoot them in the leg, it's pretty obvious.
It can create more strategic combat.
Yeah.
And so you try to turn it on. When you turn it on, it's supposed to automatically detect like the closest enemy, and then you can like change it if there's other enemies nearby. But if it's not turning it on at all, that means there's no enemies nearby. Only to realize that you stand up and you realize, oh, these are children.
Yeah. Whoops. Thank God.
And in Bethesda games, they do not allow you to kill children.
Yeah, thankfully. I
don't know. Skyrim, it's not always thankful, because there's some kids that need a good punting every now and then.
Yeah. I was like...
Only in video games, by the way. I should clarify.
You should be a little bit more specific. Don't
Only
want that one out of context.
Only in video games do some...
Oh, man.
Yeah. Like, obviously, in real life, I do not condone,
The punting of children.
but in video games,
Oh my. Yeah, like I I was so confused because I was like, why are they not attacking me? Why are they just running back and forth?
and so it turns out they were children,
Yeah,
and since it's a Bethesda game, you can't,
yeah,
without mods, you cannot harm children.
yeah.
Um,
Oh.
and so I joked, "Oh, you almost pulled an
I
Anakin,"
almost went Anakin on them.
but then you responded even better with, "Well, I wasn't there to kill the women and the children too. I was just there for anybody armed."
Yeah,
So any actual act of hostiles.
yeah,
But yeah, and then you go on to tell me about how you kick Caesar's ass.
yeah,
You basically come in with your NPC companion
yeah. I came in with my NPC
in
companions.
full armor,
Yeah,
like full like I just
we're maxed out.
yeah,
We had
maxed
fucking
out.
like I had put her in power armor. I gave
Yeah.
her all the stuff. I had
And-
maxed out EDE
And
because
I
he's.
said it was basically like having Iron Man punch you,
You might as well have.
like just full on punch you
Like, cause
in the suit, like
Yeah.
just in the suit, full on punch.
Yep.
With a little extra oomph behind it, because like Tony Stark, while I'm like in the Iron Man suit, I can imagine he can get a good swing in.
Yeah.
He's still not a very bulky dude and not very strong, so I don't imagine him having like full tens across the board on a on a character sheet. Whereas we're talking about your companion had like almost full tens across the board on a character
Yep.
sheet, and was going.
we just came in and rocked his shit. I think I was. I went full like. We.
It's like giving Rocky Balboa a
Yeah.
suit,
It basically was. And it's
like in his prime
Yeah.
Rocky Balboa, not like pre Rocky Balboa, but like
It-
maybe Rocky 2,
Yep.
Rocky Balboa, Rocky 3 maybe.
and then we just fucking left.
But yeah,
What about you, man? How have you been doing?
I'm good. I finished, so I think I kind of started to talk about it, but we never fully discussed it. So obviously, big Baldur's Gate fan.
Yes.
Been playing Baldur's Gate 3 for the stream. I told you a funny story of something
Yeah.
that happened on the stream. If y'all want to see that, we can talk about we can talk about it a little later. But I've been also, as somebody who's never done it, but I have heard the legends of how bad this book series is. Sorry, I'm getting munched on these if I.
Outside out of mind.
Yeah. There are books that were published for the first two Baldur's Gate games.
Yeah.
Lovingly called the Ballspawn Saga by the fans, because while it's two games and then an expansion that tell the story of the Ballspawn, right? So it's really a trilogy.
Yeah.
So it's either called the Ballspawn Saga or the Ballspawn Trilogy, depending on who you ask. So the books are written that way as a trilogy. I finished the first book, and I now see why fans really hate this book series. Now, if you have no, because I out of curiosity, because I've been listening to them on audio on Audible, and you can see like the score, and like the first book has a 4 out of 5 stars, and I can kind of get it actually on that end as well. So I will say I am biased in that I love the video games. And I can tell where, like, if you had no context of the video games, these could be okay books. These could be okay fantasy books. Okay D&D books, even. But as a adaptation of a video game, it is not good. So much so that the fans have have all basically said, we will ignore the canon name of this character. That's how much they hate this book. Even though that's the one piece of part of these books that has stayed canon. That's the only thing about this book that has stayed canon. Is the name. Also the class and race. Because they had to come up with a canonical name, class, and race for the character. Because in Baldur's Gate, it's a role-playing game. You get to make your own character. And so they obviously had to answer the canonical, what do they look like? Because when you're going to retell an RPG, you kind of have to answer those questions. But the parts that suck.
Where do you want to start?
It's the bastardization of all of the characters, like they like, okay, you've had some game time with me.
Yeah.
So you have at least ran into the first few characters
Yeah.
that you need to. So we ignored Montaran and Czar.
Yeah.
I was like, because you were like, we're doing a good campaign, and I said, oh well, then you don't want to pick them up because they're evil.
I forgot what their names were.
Yeah, it's Montaran.
Even though you explicitly told me.
Yeah, Montaran and Czar.
It was like they like walked up to us.
Yeah, because so your first companion is Emily.
Yeah.
Because so the story of Baldur's Gate 1, you and your adoptive dad have to leave the safety of Library City.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all live in Library City, also known as Candlekeep, which is basically a city that you can only get into if you pay the price of a very expensive. Basically, you have to bring almost a relic level book, a book that they don't already have in their library. Is also like one of the key factors. So it has to be like a hard to find book and one that's not in their library.
Yeah.
They do have that happen in the book, but they change the reasons why. Like they don't make it that that's the price to get in. They make it that that's the normal price to get in. But Abdel's been free to go in and out without this, which does not.
It's not how it works.
It's not how Candlekeep works. But yeah, your dad Gorion, your adopted dad Gorion goes, hey, there's some trouble brewing. We gotta leave town.
Yep.
And so
you get about 30 feet outside.
Well, you get about a day's worth of travel because it's nighttime when.
Oh yeah.
When your dad Gorion gets murdered.
By Goro.
You joke that because that's the voice actor, yeah. The main antagonist has some mercenaries kill him. And so, you witness your dad's death, and that's kind of your start of the quest. And the first person that you run into is Emmeline, who was somebody that was also living in Candlekeep.
Yeah.
But she snuck out because she's like, I want to go on an adventure, and I heard you guys were going on an adventure, so that's what I did. But I also witnessed your dad die, so oops, I'm sorry, but hey, I'm gonna join you.
It's like, all right.
Hey, it's me, Emmeline.
It's like, all right.
That's what she sounds like.
That's actually
that's like
spot on.
That's her literal introduction. She walks in and she goes, hey, it's me, Emmeline.
Like,
and then she's in your party because you can't say no.
So us wandering around like the starting kind of area produces some very interesting results between the two of us.
Yeah, because I know where to go because I've played it so much. But I'm also not the type of player to go, hey, this is the way we got to go.
Yeah.
I'm the type of player to go, where do you want to go? And I'm just gonna follow you.
Yeah.
Because I want to see how a new player interacts with the world.
I'm like, all right, Imoen's cool, Imoen's fine. We get to these two fuckers.
Yeah, because so basically, if you're going the correct direction, because the first thing you got it, because before Gorion died, he said, hey, go to the friendly arm inn.
I got people waiting.
If anything happens to me, that's where you need to go. I've got friends that we're meeting.
Yeah.
And so if you're going the correct direction, which is east, and it's easy to know if you're going the right direction because there's literally a footpath that's just like you follow the footpath, you're gonna go the right direction. And so
and these two guys show up, and I'm like, Montaran.
That's how he sounds.
Montaran and Jar show up, and I'm like, I was thinking, I'm like, our dad got fucking wrecked like 60 feet that way.
Correction. Even before they show up, it's the random stranger.
Oh yeah, and I'm like,
that's who you said that too, because the random stranger comes up and is like, "What's the matter?" And you're like, "Our dad," because when we were playing together, because you can play up to 6 players.
Yeah.
You can literally have a full party and then you just ignore the companions. But we just did 2-player co-op.
Yeah.
And so like, of course, we're still picking up some companions, and we're role playing it as, oh, we're brothers as well.
Yeah.
We were adopted by growing together.
Yep.
That's the way we're playing it. Although if I die, I'm the game over because I'm the first player.
Yeah. So that's that.
First player counts as the main character.
Yeah. But. And I'm like, common sense. Our dad got murked like just right over there.
Yeah, like we can literally travel there, see his body, and pick up a letter that's signed by a mysterious man named E.
Yeah.
Which, of course, we know who that is.
And I'm like, and I'm like, no, I don't trust you. Go away.
And then we run into, as
And then we
we're
run
coming
into.
up to Monteron and Jar, I give you a heads up. I'm like, hey, these are NPCs that we can put in our party, but they're also evil.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to run a good campaign, although we did make. I made a mistake.
Yeah, you made a mistake that cost me.
Yeah. Because. So we're playing. So Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 are based on 2nd edition rules.
Yep.
Which means Rangers are similar to Paladins. And
Yeah.
they have to follow their code or they lose their Ranger magic. That's not a thing in 5e now, I'm pretty
Thank
sure.
God.
It's
not.
I don't think it was a thing even in 3rd edition. I think 3rd edition they got rid of it.
Yeah, they got rid of it in 3rd edition because it's like, why would I?
Paladins, it makes sense. But
Paladins,
they've also cleaned it up to where it's not based on your. It's not based on your alignment. It's based on your oath.
Yeah.
Which that's a 5th edition change. 5th edition is the one that was like, no, we gotta clean that up where it's not.
Yeah. And.
But yeah, so I fucked you over because I was stealing some stuff. We got busted.
Mm-hmm.
And then you helped me murder someone.
Yeah.
So you did help.
I helped.
And because you murdered a guard, the game was immediately like, oh, now you've lost your ranger abilities.
And I'm like, why? It's like
you dropped from lawful good.
I'm like, what?
Or whatever.
Yeah,
whatever
I was like,
with.
what the fuck did I do?
You dropped alignment.
I'm like,
I think it was lawful good you had.
yeah, it was like lawful or.
It was lawful something, and then you lost the lawful part.
Yeah.
You killed a card.
Whoops.
I think if I had been the one to just do it by myself, you would have been fine.
Yeah.
But I think.
But instead, it's like
me,
it was an assist.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck.
But yeah.
Which.
And then we did research to see how to get your ranger stuff back, and it turns out there's no way to get it back. Like if you lose your magic of any sort in Baldur's Gate 1, you cannot get it back until Baldur's Gate 2.
Yeah. It was like, we have to get to one of the expansions.
Well, it's not even an expansion. You just got to get to Baldur's Gate 2, and you have to straight up you have to do an entire quest line.
Yeah.
To do it because.
I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Because you get like fortresses or whatever
it's
called. Strongholds. You get strongholds in 2, which was like also a 2nd edition thing. It was a big thing in 2nd edition. Strongholds. They were like, these are your homes and your stuff. But yeah,
I'm like,
so
damn it.
Baldur's Gate 2 was like, yeah, you get a stronghold, and then you have to do your stronghold quest related to your class, and that's how you get your class magic back.
Yeah.
And it's like, God, we're not gonna get there forever.
Yep.
And we also have not played Baldur's Gate 1 in like months either.
No, we haven't. I still have it on my computer.
We should get back to it because it's fun, and
and
more reason too now with Baldur's Gate 3. But back to the book.
Yeah.
So that's
back
like that's the quick quick little beginning synopsis of the game, which kind of gives you an idea immediately where they fuck up in the book. Because in the book, they immediately start with Abdel, which is the name that they go with for the main character, and it's still canon that his name is Abdel. He was a mercenary for months already. They say that he already had left Candlekeep, like months before the events of the game and book start.
Yeah.
Takes away the kind of like farm boy, simple,
humble origins.
Yeah, the humble origin that you get in.
Humble beginnings.
Yeah, you get the humble beginnings in the video game because you start off as this simple character that But the other thing is they make Abdel a complete asshole.
Yep.
In the book as well, like he doesn't have a good relationship with his father anymore because of all the stuff that he's been doing. So him and Gorion do not see head to head, like eye to eye on things. And they just make him a jerk.
Yeah.
They just go, he's a jerk. He likes killing, which that I can see where they're kind of in that case they're trying to give hints of the big plot twist of the first game / the first book, which is not even really a big plot twist in the book. They do the thing where a character says the twist early on, but nobody believes him. And you'll never guess which character it is that tells the twist. It's Monteron. Because Abdel's hanging out with Monteron at the start of the book. So it's Monteron and Jar that are in his party at the beginning. And then him and then Jaheir and Khalid join him after Gorion dies. And then, because he basically, the premise is he goes back to Candlekeep because Grian wrote a letter going, "Hey, come
Yep.
back. We should talk." Grian tells him that, "Hey, I need to go on an adventure, and I want you to go with me." Kind of reworking the why they league together. In this case, it's just some mercenaries that kill Grian. Main bad guy isn't there this time. Abdel kills all the guys that killed his dad. His dad, not dad. And then he goes off and party, right? And so they go to Friendly Armen, meet up, and then immediately go to Nashkel, because you got to go to Nashkel, because you got to get to the mines.
Mm-hmm. Gotta handle that fucking iron.
And then everything on the way to the Nashkel, and also Nashkel is where everything that ruins this book series happens.
Mm.
One, we learn that Khalid is also an asshole, which is not how he's characterized in the video game.
No.
Khalid he's almost the nice guy meme, but if the nice guy was actually a nice guy,
yeah,
that's Khalid. Like, Khalid is the nice guy if he was actually legitimately a nice guy.
Mm.
Right?
Yeah.
And he has a bit of a stuttery thing.
Yeah.
He's, like, that's his little characteristic, like, thing. Because he's shy. Not in the book. He's just straight up
a jerk.
Yeah. Jaheira and Abdel, your character, immediately start a romance. Which, by the way, Khalid and Jaheira are married.
Yep.
So Jaheira is immediately cheating on him. And then we find out also that Khalid cheated on Jaheira before, which is how Jaheira is justifying it. Once again, like I said, this is a bastardization of all of the characters.
Two wrongs do not make a right.
Because the video game Khalid and Jaheira would never.
Yeah. They genuinely, like, care for each other. These are not them.
Like, they care about each other so much that, so in the video game, there are certain party members that you cannot recruit without the other member.
Yeah.
Khalid and Jaheira are one of those pairings. You recruit Khalid, you get Jaheira. You recruit Jaheira, you get Khalid. Now, there's ways to break that bond, and that's by, like, letting one of them die and still keeping the other.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Or, specifically, recruiting one of them and quickly leaving before the other one can say, "Hey, I guess I'm going to go too." No. You leave the room before that happens, and it keeps the other person in your party. There's ways around it, but that's not how you're supposed to play the game. And so, like, they make these characters completely jerks to justify the romance.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, it really doesn't justify the romance.
Yeah.
And then we learn. And so, then Abdel stabs Khalid when they're in the mines.
What? Why?
Which is like, so it's apparently an accident. They do bring him back to life, but then he actually dies later in the book.
Oh, great.
And it's such a quick thing, him dying for real, that I forget when in the book he died. Like, I noticed that they stopped talking about him, and I was like, wait, did he die? And it's like, oh yeah, he died. Wait a minute. Like, that's how forgettable that moment is.
He died. Moving on.
Montron also dies. Because Montron and Zar betray everybody in the mines.
Okay.
Montron, it turns out, was working for Saravok in the book.
All right.
Which is not his motivation. Like, that's not Montron and Zar's motivation in the game of why they're evil. They are working for the Centaur. That's the epitome of their evil. You never have a party member that's directly working for the bad guy.
Yeah.
Not in the first game, anyways. I don't want to spoil the second game. But yeah, in the first game, nobody works directly for the bad guy. But yeah, they work for the Zents, because Saravok's whole part of his plan is that he's also tricking everybody into thinking that the Zents are behind all the
problems,
all the caravan like attacks
from
the mercenaries. And of course, the Zents are like, "Wait, we're not doing that. Who the fuck is framing us?"
They're like,
it's like, we're bad guys,
but we didn't do this one.
And so they hire. That's the like NPC side quest you can do with Montron and Jars. Figure out what's going on in the mines, find out that the Zents are being framed, and then when you get to Baldur's Gate, you can go to Zent headquarters and be like, hey, here's who's behind it.
Yep.
But no, in the novel, Montaron is working for Saravok. Saravok kills him, so Montaron is dead.
Oh no.
Oh no. Zar goes mad and he runs away. He was working for neither. He was really just on his own. But Zar is also crazy, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then like some other characters die that are like NPC party members.
Yeah.
And then I've read spoilers for what happens at the end of the trilogy, and oh my god, it gets worse.
Mm-hmm.
But so far, I've only completed the first book.
Yeah, I remember like when we got into the
happened.
car. Yeah, when we got into the car today, I was thinking because last week before we came to the podcast, you were like we were listening in to one of the chapters.
From the first book,
yeah.
Now I'm on book 2.
I was like, Jaheira, like we were discussing this earlier. It's like Jaheira's supposed to be like this badass druid lady.
Yeah, badass druid fighter.
Yeah, I was like listening to it. I'm like, has Jaheira never been in a fight before? According to this book, because it sounds like it's fucking amateur hour.
Yeah, let me find the TV tropes because I remember. So on TVTropes.com, I was reading it, which is also how I found out what happened at the end of the trilogy. But they had the trope for like what happened, like
yeah,
oh yeah, adaptational jerk ass. That's what they call Khalid.
Yep.
Oh yeah, they turned one of the characters into a good guy. He's absolutely not in the video game. Yeah. Oh, I was telling you about this in the car today. They make Minsk a redhead, even though he's bald as fuck.
Yeah. I was like, that's a weird one.
Like, why make that change? Yeah. Hold on, I can show you what he normally looks like just to remind you. Like I said, he has like the purple half tattoo all over. Like, he's bald. Why would they do that to my boy Minsk? And his buddy Boo, although they got Boo right. Boo,
yeah.
I mean, Boo's hard to get difficult though.
Yeah. I was like, what?
Oh, fall action girl.
That's
what
okay.
Put her under.
Yep.
Because normally she is an action
girl.
Yeah. Like you played the first.
She can hold her own.
Yeah. Like we've made it to chapter 4.
Yeah.
Of the video game. She can. Yeah.
And it's like, what? What happened?
And so yeah. But yeah, that's my journey with the novel.
Yeah.
I've been enjoying the Baldur's Gate 3 game. Please check out the streams. I've also been playing other games for the Patreon because I'm trying to keep Patreon stuff coming in.
Yeah.
Well. YouTube, y'all will get that stuff just once I'm done with the Baldur's Gate 3 run. But that's another reason for you to join the Patreon in the meantime. But I was telling you about Demon Souls first.
Yes.
Because that was the video I did yesterday. And I've started doing the traditional not wearing pretty much anything and just carrying a big weapon.
You've gone full caveman.
Yeah. So, man, and this sword really packs a punch.
Well, yeah, I'd fucking hope it does.
Like, you know those guys that's in World 1 that come charging at you, that go, and they come charging at you? You just swing that thing, and if you're two-handing it, it goes, and then they go, to their backs.
Welcome to the Berserk playthrough.
And then you just run up. Yeah, because it's basically a buster sword.
Yeah.
And so you run up and you just go, do it again, and then they're dead. Two shots, they're dead. You can one-shot most enemies. Hell, I've one-shotted 2 enemies standing back, like they were in a line, and so I just went, and I thought I was just gonna get the first guy. No, it knocked both of them out in one hit. I was like, okay.
Oh man.
So now I'm at the part where Demon Souls is fun.
Yeah.
It's where it's like, no, I still die.
Mm-hmm.
But I got a lot done, and also like it's not frustrating when you die at that point. At that point, you're like, oh, okay, I died. I can get back there.
We also had a brief discussion where I was like, hey man, okay. I was like, hey man, they got me. They got me in the romance department.
Oh yeah.
I was like, and you were like, yeah, that makes sense.
We were talking Baldur's Gate 3, and you were telling like you were like you didn't say who it was in Baldur's Gate 3, but I knew because I know you.
Yeah.
And to be fair, she's not a bad choice at all. In fact, a lot of the internet loves her, and it's Karlach. Because really, the internet, it's either Astarion Gale, or Karlach.
Yep.
Those are really the big three.
And you were like, you have a type, and I'm like, fuck, he's right. God damn it.
There's nothing wrong with that type. We've discussed that. There's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
It's a healthy type. It's not an unhealthy.
Oh man.
Meanwhile, I'm in my main run. I'm doing Shadowheart, which is that's the goth girlfriend.
Yep. Oh man.
All right, but let's get.
We don't have a lot of.
Yeah,
we have time, but not that much time.
We've almost done an hour just talking.
Oh boy.
So let's get into some news because we do have a couple things. So firstly, we did talk about a Visions comic one shot a few weeks back, like almost a month ago now, that we did that the Ronin one shot. And we did mention that we'd like more of that. Well, Marvel heard us, and while we're not getting specifically more Ronin stories, we are getting more one shots from different artists. The first one we're getting is from Peach Momoko, who had previously done work with Marvel on the Vader Black, White, and Red miniseries, which you haven't read yet. With one of my favorite shorts in the comic. I liked her work. We also got a blurb from StarWars.com as well as some of the cover and concept art. So I'll go ahead and pop that up real quick.
Yeah.
And I'll read the. Hold on. Make sure I have the script So here's some of the art. So that's the cover. I'll pop it up big for you. And I'm going to start reading some of the what we've been told is going to be the premise. Star Wars Visions, Peach Momoko #1 is arriving November of this year. Picks up centuries after the death of a major Sith Lord with a cult called Ancock having grown around the notorious dark side servant. Tata, leader,
How's it spelled?
T-A-T-A.
Yeah.
It sounds so weird saying it, but I'll get used to it. Tata, leader of the cult, believes she is the rightful successor to the Sith Lord. Meanwhile, a girl named Kako and her loyal droid Gel are fated to confront this new evil. We actually do have some art. So this is Tata. She's the one obviously on the cover. Nice concept art for her. We also got Kako here on the left with her droid Gel here on the right. We also got another piece of art here of someone named Popo, who's not mentioned. Peach Momoko herself also gave some insight into like why she felt wanting to write this particular story. She says, I wanted to tell a story about a cult, and I felt within the Star Wars universe, the dark side was something that ties to when a human or something living loses itself and then wants to rely on believing something in order to have hope to live. I believe falling to the dark side is nothing to be ashamed of. It could save you. Sometimes the dark side can help defeat your trauma and fear. And the story, Ancock's belief, is that the time when light defeats darkness has ended. It is the time to accept the darkness. And Tata is only using the dark side to help those who need a dark light. So currently, we don't know how many other Visions comics we'll be getting or how often. But not only do we have this to look forward to, but Viz Media is still supposedly working on a original Visions manga. So what are your thoughts on this? I mean, you're not as familiar with the artist as I am. I've seen her work, and so I'm kind of excited. But I mean,
this could be interesting.
Yeah, from what you've heard, I mean, we kind of like we like the High Republic, so we like a good cult story.
Let's see how this goes.
Yeah. And I mean, it's more Visions. It's literally what we want of just cool one-shot stories from different artists. I mean, not a lot to complain about, in my opinion. We also got some book news.
Yeah.
With StarWars.com releasing an excerpt from the upcoming A Certain Point of View Return of the Jedi short story collection with a story about Dexter Jettster. This story is called The Veteran and is written by Adam Lance Garcia, and I'll go ahead and kind of just read the excerpt. Dexter Jettster thought of the boy he had met on Lenara and all that the boy would never see. He thought of the warrior the boy had become, the war that had been lost. The war Dexter Jettster had helped start. A Pirate HoloNet channel, the last bastion of the free press in the Imperial Center, was playing the destruction of the second Death Star on a loop, the shockwave blooming like a flower. Outside, they were celebrating, a jubilant roar echoing through the chasms of Coruscant. The Empire had fallen. The Galactic Civil War was over. Dex had heard this song before, played to a different tune, but familiar all the same. He heard it when the Nihil had been defeated, when the Republic became the Empire, on countless worlds for countless reasons. The Song of Hope. Dex knew better. He had learned the hard way that hope was a hollow thing, promising everything and granting nothing. Hope was for the foolish, and tonight the fools were feasting. Tomorrow they would wake to empty stomachs. Dex limped over to the holo projector and switched off the feed. He had seen enough. Pessimists lived long lives, not as long as some beings, but long enough that Dex wondered if he had lived too long. He still remembered the shape of the Camino's saber dart, the sharpness of its Durasteel-embedded prongs, the dry blood that covered its injector needle. He had been so proud, so eager to impress his young friend. He could never have known where it would lead. That the Republic would fall, that the light of the Jedi would be extinguished, that billions would die. Dex bore the weight of every life lost, but none more so than the boy he had met on Lenara. Dex wasn't sure whether the warrior had died on the front or during the purge, though he prayed it was the former. He couldn't bear the thought of his friend being gunned down by his own men. Dex could never forget how the Jedi Temple blazed in the night, how the smoke billowed days after the fires were quenched, how the air tasted of ash, and how soot covered his diner for weeks, no matter how frequently he and Wanda cleaned. Nearly 1,000 years of peace reduced to dust. "It'll be fine, honey. You'll see," Wanda had said, reminding him that droids rarely saw beyond their programming. She broke down 3 years later. He lost the diner soon after. Now, 2 decades later, his sensory whiskers bristled, the faint scent of smoke wafting through the vents of his cramped level 2401 apartment. The air was never clean this far down. Dex knew the smell of fire brought on by laser blasts and what it portended. He tilted his head and listened. Beyond the cries of celebration, he heard the faint echoes of blaster rifles. He cursed under his breath. He told himself he should stay put, that it was safer and smarter to remain where he was, that he was tired, so very tired. But Dex never listened to anyone, especially himself. God.
Man.
I mean, I already knew this book's going to be good because all the first 20 books have been.
Yeah.
But getting a Dex story, just that little piece of it.
Yeah.
And of course, the boy on Lenara being Obi-Wan, because that's from the Padawan book, because that's the planet from that book.
Oh, man.
Oh. Are you excited for when we get to talk about this book?
Yes.
I think that's really the only question I can ask.
Yeah.
So I'm like, there's not much else to really say.
Dex, it's not your fault, man.
Well, it sounds like we'll get a little bit more. Because, I mean, that's just an excerpt of that story.
Yeah.
So, well, let's go ahead and get into our main topic then for today.
You write things out for the show sometimes. I don't.
Yeah, no. Well, I'm the producer, so it's my
job.
But yeah, let's dive into today's topic.
All right.
Today we're talking about the 2020 run of Star Wars Darth Vader Volume 6, Return of the Handmaidens. This is your spoiler warning. We will be going into them. So...
Yeah, spoilers.
Yeah, let's dive right in. So getting more Sabe.
Mm-hmm.
But this time we get more of the Handmaidens, not just Sabe. Like,
we
got hints of them. So, the last time we talked about Vader, we did the first Sabe arc, which was her and Vader against this governor for the Empire that was potentially working with the Crimson Dawn. And we got not only reference to Anakin's past through Sabe, but also we had his best friend growing up. Well, two of his best friends growing up.
Yeah, seeing what happened to him.
Because it was Waldo?
Yeah.
Waldo and Kitster.
Yep.
Which everybody loves Kitster. Best Star Wars character. Especially one of my favorite Star Wars content creators who was part of the official Star Wars show for a while. But now he's on TikTok and he doesn't really talk Star Wars as much, but he talks some.
Yeah.
Anthony Carboni. If you're out, if you're watching, he was actually, I saw a video of him actually talking about Vader. He's an Astarian fan. But getting into this. This time, we don't quite dig into Anakin's past as much.
Yeah.
This one is more of getting the temptations of Sabe, essentially.
Yeah.
Where Vader's trying to more tempt Sabe over to his side. Because in this one, we have her. It turns out that she's undercover on purpose with the Empire, because the Amidalans are.
Yep.
They're not affiliated with the rebellion, but they are a rebellion of sorts.
The plan: kill Vader because he killed Padme.
Yes. Which, of course, now Sabe knows the truth.
Yeah.
It's a little more complicated than that. And also, she's been made a commander.
Yep. And it's like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing.
And so their firstly, they get a run-in with Palpatine because we get a test.
Yeah.
We get one test for Vader because Palpatine's got to test Vader all the time.
You know, as you do.
In this case, it's like, hey, don't let this person trick you into going back to your old life.
Yep.
Essentially. And of course, Palpatine's pretty confident that it's not gonna work.
Not gonna work.
And he's right. So the mission, though, that he gives Vader and Sabe is to deal with Tambor. Not Wat Tambor, but his son, Jewel. Which, of course, if you know about the Clone Wars, you know, if you're a fan of Episode 2, Attack the Clones, Wat Tambor is the Techno-Union leader. He's the one that goes to Techno-Union. But
Jewel Tambor is his grandson.
Grandson.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Also, I love that Sidious is just like, you were originally going to kill Vader, but now you're going to kill me?
Yeah, because...
It's like, you're a killer! Holy shit!
It's funny, the people that Palpatine respects, even though they're still beneath him.
Yeah.
Like, because he respects that.
He's like...
But there's... Afra also has earned his respect before.
It's like...
It's hilarious.
He's like, damn, you really want to kill me, don't you?
And in the case of Afra, it's not because she tried to kill him, it's because she basically ratted Vader, like...
She's... I think he just likes it when people, like, get punked because of him, essentially.
Or, like, punk Vader.
Yeah.
Like, if you mess with Vader and you get away with it, it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Like, Palpatine is just entertaining.
Yeah.
Palpatine's like, I'm here for the tea. Palpatine is
so
here
fucking
for the
dramatic.
He's a dramatic. He's a dramatic motherfucker.
He's like, I'm gonna lean into this.
If Palpatine were a person in the real world, he would be a T/drama YouTube channel.
He fucking would be. Oh.
That is now my AU. That if for like if you had Star Wars people in the real world, Palpatine is like a drama T podcaster.
Oh.
He's like the next H3H3.
Oh. Oh. Oh, okay.
Or Drama Alert.
Yeah. Oh man.
Because Drama Alert's been dead, right? Like
I think so.
Yeah. So like he's the new Drama Alert. But yeah, no. So like so they get sent to deal with Jewel Tambor because back on Skako Minor, which is the homeworld of the Techno-Union.
Yeah.
They're basically putting up a resistance to the Empire, and Jewel's essentially trying to bring back the Separatists.
Yeah. Let's see how this plays out.
Essentially his plan.
Yep.
He's like, I'm gonna bring back the droid armies, and we're gonna fight the Empire that way.
Yep.
Not a bad plan. The problem is he's not very secretive about that
plan.
That's a plan that needs a a decade or two of building up.
Yeah.
And so, meanwhile, the Amidalans are like are working on trying to still do with the plan of deal with Vader.
Yeah.
And so they've kidnapped Ochi.
And it's like, Ochi's like, please, by all means, fucking take her back.
Yeah, because if we remember in the last arc of the Vader comics, Ochi was kind of developing a rivalry with Sabe.
Yeah.
Because he was like, fuck, she's here to replace me. I like Vader's number 2.
And he's like, I don't want that to happen.
Because like Ochi's whole thing is like, he's a shit guy.
Yeah.
He's just a little guy, and his whole little guy plan is to just survive.
If I hang around
powerful people, I don't have to be powerful.
Yeah.
That's his plan.
That is the plan.
Like, just hang around powerful enough people that they won't kill you. And then other people who are also more powerful than you also won't kill you because you have way more powerful people in your pocket.
Yeah.
Or rather, you're in their pocket, but still.
Same difference.
The problem is, powerful people replace the little people all the time.
Yeah.
And so Ochi's plan is inevitably going to backfire.
Yep.
Because that's just how the politics of that type of situation work.
And it's like,
especially when the powerful people you're aligning yourself with are evil. That's the key factor of that.
Yep.
Because when have you ever seen a bad guy keep their henchmen for more than a week?
Nope. Doesn't happen very often.
Like, even Palpatine's consistently trying to replace Vader.
Yep.
Like,
he wants a new model.
Vader being his second in command is not from a lack of trying to replace him.
It's because everyone else is dead.
It's just that Vader happens to be the best weapon of choice.
Yeah. Oh, man.
But yeah, so Ochi's been kidnapped by the Handmaidens, and so they're like, hey, you gotta get us inside, so that way we can figure out what's going on with Sabe, because we haven't gotten a report from her in, like, forever.
Yep.
And so, Ochi does get them in. I forget which one impersonates Sabe. But one of them
that's their former job description, to look like each other, and I'm like, this is hardly surprising that we can tell.
I want to say it's Sabe.
Yeah.
But anyways, one of them goes in, disguised as Sabe with Ochi, and so they go into Sabe's office, find some notes, find out that she's kind of not doing the mission she's supposed to.
Yeah. Ochi is like, well, you won't find where she went lying around. I can tell you about all this other shit that she did.
Yeah.
About how she's playing the game where it's like point Vader in a direction and just let him go.
Yeah, because Sabe is still playing Vader.
Yeah.
She's just not playing what the original plan for the Amidalans was.
Yep.
Because now there's some real emotions there. Sabe still doesn't like Anakin.
No.
But
now she's like, oh, this was a lot worse than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, this is more complicated because originally she thought she was just going to kill some monster that killed Padme.
Yeah.
But now it's, oh, this is Anakin, Padme's husband. He might not have done it.
Yeah. And it's like, oh boy, this is going to be great.
Which, depending on how you want to read the situation of Padme's death,
yeah,
he still had a heavy hand in it. Pun not intended.
Don't laugh, Seth. That's inappropriate. Don't laugh at her being choked the fuck out.
Yeah, let's not laugh at the message.
I'm trying, bro. Fuck you and your goddamn pun.
Like that
yeah.
Like that's definitely a hand in her death, literally speak. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. Also the emotional trauma and all that. So there's a lot of reasons that she died. Not this looking at you, George, with she just doesn't want to live. That's not.
She does.
That's not. That's not medically speaking an accurate assumption of what happened here. I would say there's some emotional and physical trauma that probably led to what happened.
You know.
And then, of course, there's also the theory that Palpatine had an active hand as well.
Yeah.
that one's not as there's not enough evidence for that one, but we know Palpatine lied to Anakin about what happened.
Yep.
So we know that much.
Man.
But yeah. Back to the main story.
Yes.
Though. So we kind of move things along. We get a lot of Sabe undercover trying to figure out what Jules' plan is. She plays alongside. She does a little bit of playing both sides type of situation. She'll at one point be working with Vader to mess up with Jules' stuff, and then the next time talking to Jules, going, "Hey, actually, here's what Vader's up to." She actually very effectively near the end of this arc does a really good one, which is the whole tricking Jewel into basically admitting that he's gonna bomb his own people.
Yep.
Yeah. So that turns all of
he did bomb the place, but thankfully she had moved them. I'm like, oh, the thing that
because she told him that Vader was gonna be there.
Yeah.
And Jewel was like, well, anything to get rid of Vader.
And he's like, how many are there?
It was a good number.
It's 12 people.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I mean, that's still enough to turn a village against you if you.
Yeah, and I'm like, why would you fucking do this? The other part of me that I had the same reaction as Sabe when I heard it, Jewel loudly declaring in the street, "I'm gonna kill Darth Vader," and me reading Sabe's reaction and saying it out loud at the same time. No, you're not.
I mean, and it's not even just the meta knowledge of obviously this takes place before Return of the Jedi. It's also the no, because you're a joke compared to Vader.
Yeah. It's everyone else is like, do you hear yourself? And I'm like, the other thing that sent me off on I don't trust Jewel was he's like, oh, I'll always refight for Skako Minor and the honor of the Tambors, and my brain immediately went, what honor?
Yeah, didn't your grandfather try to steal all of Rylot's prized possessions during the Clone Wars?
I'm like, well, that's a fucking lie.
Wat Tambor literally tried to do essentially. He tried to do essentially the Nazi gold thing.
Yeah.
With the Twi'leks.
I'm like, this is a terrible idea from start to finish.
Which I'm pretty sure is a war crime, by the way, to take possessions like that.
I think it might be. I'd have to check. I'll get.
At least nowadays it is.
At least nowadays.
Well, I mean, most war crimes were written after World War II.
Yeah.
We can't. Well, World War I was the start, and then World War II was here's some more laws.
We had Geneva Conventions before. People started caring a lot more after World War I because it's maybe we should chill the fuck out with the mustard gas, please.
It was one of the worst wars ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm pretty sure that's something you're not supposed to do. But
pretty
yeah,
sure.
Joel also definitely takes he
I'm
also wouldn't. I think another dumb part of his plan is that he did not have any allies outside of people from Skako Minor. A smart, if he was really trying to bring the Separatists back, maybe find other planets willing to work with you on that.
Yeah.
Maybe team up with the Rebel Alliance, for example, who are growing strong at the they're at a weak point right now, but they're growing stronger again.
I'm not, because I'm oh, the plan of I'll just fucking electrocute him was actually not that bad a plan.
No, yeah. This when we get to inside his ship and Vader gets stuck in the trap. Not a bad trap.
Not a bad trap. It is the involvement of the Handmaidens that kind of screws it over. There are some times in fiction where it's well, obviously this is
we should probably talk about the involvement of the Handmaidens. Because by that point in the story, the Handmaidens have run into Vader.
Yeah.
And Vader's kind of started to tempt them as well.
Yeah.
And he's like, you are all very angry, and I can give you a better source of where to feed that rage.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, none of them are really having it.
Yeah.
in reality, they're still very much ready to kill Vader.
Yeah.
Uh,
The plan is still kill Vader for most of them.
Unfortunately, Sabe prevents that.
Yep.
Because so Vader gets caught in Jewel Tambor's trap, which is basically get them into his ship where he's been trying to escape along with some of the stuff that he's taken, and Vader gets on there, gets electrified, caught in a little shock trap where he can't get out without some help.
Yep.
The other Handmaidens are like, perfect, we can kill him. Sabe's like, nah, we still need him. Turns off the trap.
Yep.
Which immediately causes the other Handmaidens to go, what the fuck? This was the perfect opportunity. Because honestly, they are right. Vader is not needed to take down Jewel.
Yeah.
They could easily handle Jewel without Vader. So it makes me wonder the long game of Sabe.
Yeah.
This is also kind of the final main arc involving Sabe. Like, Sabe's still in the Vader comics, but it's no longer really about the Handmaidens like it has been for the last 2 volumes. This one and then the previous one. And so, I'm kind of curious where her path is still going to end up. Because by the end of this volume, she's very much Imperial.
Yeah.
Like, she's straight up gone, like, okay, I'm Imperial. Like, there is no turning. They're still turning back, but there's, like, she's gone at the almost no point of return sort of situation.
It's like one more thing, and then it's like, all right, I give up.
And then the other Handmaidens have kind of given up because they realized, oh, Sabe was their leader.
Yeah.
And so they were like, because she was Padme's second in command, so it makes sense that Sabe would be their, like, main leader after Padme's gone. But without that, they're kind of just like, well, I guess we'll just go back to normal lives.
We're gonna call it a day and go home because that shit didn't work.
In the case of some of them, they're married and
they have other places to be.
Yeah, they like because Sasha and Yane who live together and are married.
Yep.
So they're just like, fuck it, we're just gonna live our happy lives. Fuck it. Because Sabe was the reason that they had this like urge to get revenge on.
And it's like, it's not quite a well now what, but it's more like, all right, we tried.
That and also like you no longer have the coals beneath you.
Yeah.
So without the coals, there's no fire, and without that fire, why bother?
Why go?
Yeah. And so everybody's like, we got lives to get back to.
Yeah.
And in the case of others, they even have kids.
Yeah.
They're just like, fuck it.
Fuck it, we're done.
Which I don't blame them.
Yeah.
I mean, your leader turned. It sucks. I still think some of them, a couple of them said they're going to involve themselves with the rebellion now.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, but like most of them, they're just like, back to our lives.
Yep.
Because while the Empire sucks, at least we've got lives outside of it. So, and I do kind of hate that Sabe is, because it feels weird. Because it doesn't feel like Sabe's character would do that to me. At least not, because like a couple weeks ago, we finished Queen's Peril.
Yeah.
So it's kind of ironic. It's kind of funny going back to this period of Handmaidens after getting that period of Handmaidens. Sabe just doesn't seem the type to work with Anakin for any reason. Because she never liked Anakin.
Yeah.
I mean, in Queen's Peril, it's less so because he's still a child. So
yeah,
she doesn't have as much dislike for him yet. But then when we get to the rest of the Queen's trilogy, it's very like by Queen's Hope, she's like, fuck this guy.
All the people you could have picked, you picked a fucking Jedi.
Yeah, like she doesn't get why Padme likes Anakin.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even the fact that he's a Jedi, it's the fact that it's Anakin and how he acts. Because Anakin has a lot of red flags. He's just kind of carrying it. Overall, though, this is a pretty good comic. I mean, the Vader comics have never let down. Ochi, once again, in the Vader comics, I like Ochi, but then I have to continue to remember he kicks robot dogs. So I don't like him. Because Shadows of the Sith.
Yep.
He kicks robot dogs. kicks Dio. So I have to remember
man.
that he's dislikable. Even though this comic really makes him likable because he's just a little guy. He's just a little guy. He's just a funny little guy.
Fucking goofball.
Yeah. That's all I can. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Not really.
I mean, I feel like we went over the majority of like the main points.
Yeah.
I kind of like Jewel as a villain, as like the villain of the arc. He's not a mastermind.
Yeah. No.
By any means, but he was fun to watch as a villain, as like kind of this antagonistic force.
Yeah.
And seeing Sabe pit him and Vader against each other was interesting.
Yeah.
I'd give it a 8.5.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm gonna give it an 8.
But yeah, thank you all for watching today's episode of Escape Reality Star Wars Talk. I've been your host, Caleb. Be sure to like, comment, follow, subscribe to us. You can find us at Escape Reality Films on YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok. You can also show your support for us by joining our Patreon, which is also at Escape Reality Films. Shout out to Jennifer Brantley.
Yeah.
There you can watch our YouTube content a week before it's publicly available, although currently, as I discussed earlier on the show, you can watch content almost a month before I plan to release it, as I've been uploading the normal YouTube content there, but waiting until I finish my Baldur's Gate 3 live stream run to go back to normal programming on the YouTube end. So if you've been missing my runs of Demon Souls or any of the other games that I normally play, or you want to watch the D&D game I've been running, because I've been doing a D&D game, so if you want to watch some of that before anybody else gets the chance, that's how you can do it for $10 a month. You can also find me on Twitter at EscapeReality94 and on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at Caleb.Lockwood. We'd like to thank our friends at Mobcast Network and Gamers and Geeks for providing this space to us. Mobcast Network is a podcasting group that I produce and co-host with, where we talk about classic movies on their show Cult Movie Cantina. Currently, we're on hiatus, but if you want to catch up on some episodes, you can watch us on youtube.com/Mobcast Network, and you can find them on any fine podcasting app, as well as, any fine podcasting app at Mobcast Network, or on Facebook.com/Cult Movie Cantina. Gamers and Geek is our local gaming shop here in Mobile, Alabama. So if you're ever out this way and looking for some tabletop, card, or board games, you should check them out off of Howells Ferry and Moffett Road in the shopping center next to the Piggly Wiggly. Today we walked in and they were doing some Blood Bowl, which is D&D football. It's ogres and orcs and stuff playing football essentially. It's or rugby, I guess it's closer to. Which they were doing because if you're a sports guy, we're in preseason for football, and so we're about to come back to football. So they do little fun events like that every now and then. They also have Magic on Fridays, I believe.
I think so.
I think it's Magic Fridays, and then D&D Adventurers League if you've ever wanted to play D&D but you don't have a group. They do Adventurers League on Sundays. We also have Engage Gaming in the same building, who offer hourly in-house console renting. Here you can play on PS5, Xbox Series X, PC, and even VR. They also sell games, so if you want something classic or modern, they might have what you're looking for. I've seen some good N64 games even. I've looked. They also offer a monthly membership where you can have the hourly rental rate reduced slightly, so come check out all of our friends there. Speaking of our friends, you can check out Seth. And I'll let you plug while I quickly do something.
All right. Every Sunday over at Steam, at the Steam Dungeon on YouTube, from 5 to 7 Central Standard Time, you can go and catch some friends of ours on Trials of Nepu. It's a D&D 5e game where we are currently exploring the city. Some of our friends just got done with a Coliseum fight. It didn't go so well. They're okay. They're healed up. I might be able to join this next upcoming game. We'll see how that works out. They're pretty cool. I think you should go and check them out. That's about it. I'm not very good at chilling, so I'm gonna have to spitball here for a moment, which I can't do. So I hope you all are kind of having a lovely day. It's pretty cool here. I would go and end the thing, but I don't know how to do that since the more technical one is wandering around. He's got to go and check up on something. In the meantime, how are you? How are you doing? How's your day been? Good? I hope it's been good. If it's been bad, I hope it gets better. All right? If you'll excuse me, I am going to just go over your side. This is empty, aside from some ice, so I'm just gonna chew on that for a sec. I'm gonna move away from the mic.
Was there anything else that we needed to talk about?
After that, no, not that I can think of.
So we did Gamers and Gates, our stuff, Steam Dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
I think we got everything. So yeah.
Sunday. That's the thing I left out.
Sundays.
Sunday. I got everything else but the day of the
so,
week.
So Steam Dungeon.
5 to 7 Central
5 to 7
Standard
Central
Time.
Sunday.
Sunday.
On Sundays. And you told them what's been up since
Yeah.
last time?
John's character Nissa fought a Spinosaurus. They're okay. They're alive.
Spinosaurus or John?
John. The Spinosaurus is fine.
Okay. Well then, I guess that's everything. So once again, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all next week with the Crimson Rain comics.
Oh boy.
I have spoken.
Y'all have a good one.